How's it going? I've got a small little NHL 16 update for you guys. The only reason I'm putting this out there is because not everyone reads the forums, and recently an EA developer, Ben, posted some comments on the forums replying to some threads on there, and it's got some valuable information in there about skaters, nothing about goalies yet. But first, here's a little screenshot of NHL 16. It appears to be the on-ice visual trainer, which is the tutorial mode. I'm not going to speculate on this at all, just let you guys look at it and speculate yourselves. So moving on. In a thread called Protecting the Puck with a backwards deke needs to be nerfed. Ben says, when we say we've improved passing, it isn't just about helping offense. We have done just as much to passing to add accountability for doing the wrong thing as we have to improving the control over your power and accuracy. So part of our passing changes have actually helped defense. If you can force a player to their backhand and take away their time and space, forcing a quick pass at speed and off their backhand, they won't be near as successful as they will with time and space on their forehand. As far as a player being overpowered in glide, we have added back a range of stumbles, which helps out a lot in tuning physics reactions. We want players to be more balanced in glides than they are in full stride, and last year it was a bit limited to either glance off of a player or end in a fall. That simplifies it a bit more than it was, but you get the idea. This year we have a range within the stumbles themselves, so you'll see strong players with the ability to protect a puck and shrug off a hit at a low relative speed, but you will also see a player able to get knocked off the puck, even if they don't go into a full fall, if you get a good angle on them to nudge them off. Ben. So let's talk about passing. I was definitely worried that they just buffed passing, but it sounds like they're improving the overall mechanic of it, which is great for defense. I've always thought that the backhand passes in this game were a little cheesy. You hold the puck on your backhand and the puck just launches off your stick. Now it sounds like the pass won't be as hard or as accurate if you don't have the space or you're on your backhand. I think that'll balance things out nicely. Now let's talk about the puck control stuff. Gliding is a very useful tool in this game. However, it's a little overpowered with regards to holding onto the puck. You can glide your way through sticks and bodies without ever losing the puck. Now it sounds like the stronger player builds will be rewarded with more puck control, while defenders will still be able to nudge a player off the puck if they make decent contact, which makes sense. I don't think a little 5'11 playmaker should be able to hold onto the puck if he's not strong enough to. Now that all sounds great, but I am concerned about what happens after they are nudged off the puck. Will they just pick the puck back up right away? Will our defenders bounce off the skater and have no chance of getting that puck they knocked loose? So those are just some of my concerns. Now on the Ask EA Sports page, they updated a question the other day. The question was, in NHL 15, online team play is plagued with too many player collisions. Has this been identified as an issue to be fixed for NHL 16? And the answer from our friend Ben Rost here is that yes, with the return of ESHL, there has been a big focus on balance and behavior, making the game fun to play from every position in an online multiplayer space that's garbage. Part of this has been tuning core gameplay elements and factors such as player physics and collisions. We have not only tuned the balance of how prepared players are in different situations for collisions, but also added more variety in reactions at lower levels so that even when players do collide, they don't have to be as extreme as they were in NHL 15. Small stumbles have helped these incidental collisions as well as allowed big power forwards to protect the puck when turning their back to a defensive player to absorbing impacts better. So it sounded, they're talking about these stumbles a lot, so I'm wondering if that's going to be their fix for glancing off hits. Let's hope so. That mechanic sounds a little bit interesting, and I hope it improves gameplay. In a thread titled Adding Realistic Stick Physics would be nice. Ben says, this topic is something I also feel passionate about in our push towards authenticity and realism. You have all hit it on the head as you have followed along over the years as we have tried different strategies, and it comes down to realism versus fun factor, and that doesn't just mean offense versus defense either. It isn't fun for a defender to have a forward walk right through him when he was in good position. The same as it isn't fun for a forward to lose the puck when he feels in real life he would have more control over his stick and puck. With all that in mind, we have tried to search for the best balance. You'll be happy to know that this year we have added back the ability for pucks to come loose from stick-on-stick contact, like in NHL 13, as well as kept it in for stick-on-body contact. This is more so on the hardcore online default game style as opposed to simulation, which is fine. We have also added in some other factors to make up for the lack of perfect collision detection, which, as you mentioned, would sometimes make things too clumsy. Such as, a poke check won't work if it goes through a piece of equipment or a player's bodies first. Stick-on-stick contact when it is subtle from behind the player with the puck won't be as effective as if the defender is in front in a stronger stance. And also tune poke checks themselves to better represent the physical abilities of a defensive player, better to their front than sides and back, better on slow-moving pucks than fast, etc., and all weighed against defensive awareness and stick-checking ratings for balance across players. Defensive deflections and interceptions are also solving more reliably due to fixes from previous years and adding in additions to the model for how they can solve them. Ben. Now, that whole paragraph was a clusterfuck. It's like Ben is on board for more realism, which is great to hear. They added stick-on-stick collisions back into the game, which is outstanding. Hopefully that'll result in more loose pucks. And what I think Ben is trying to say in his mess of a sentence/paragraph is that defensive positioning, combined with player type ratings, will determine how effective a poke check is. That makes sense. That's how it should be. But I feel like that's how it's always been. If you're behind a player and you poke check them, you'll probably take a bad penalty. Maybe with the updated stick collisions, they had to nerf the poke check a little bit so you can't poke through a guy's skates. I don't know. That's just what it sounds like to me. I sure hope if you're poking through a guy's skates that it's going to result in a tripping penalty, but you never know. And his last sentence is poorly written. But what I think he's trying to say is that we'll see less passes and shots getting through defenders this year. Maybe it's just me, but I think Ben needs to take English 101 again, man. That was brutal. So in a thread about defense and players getting turned around when they should be facing the puck, Ben starts talking about improvements to defense. He says, I had other guys in the office complaining to me the other day that they couldn't get passes through easy enough, which shows we are on the right track in my opinion. As far as the first point made in this thread, we have done a ton of work this year to skating and vision control angles. With the improvements to facing direction, precision skating, and other tweaks to the feeling of the weight of your player when stopping, control over facing angles is much improved. Ben. Yes, Ben. Yes, get it out of the testers and developers' heads that their terrible passes should get through. If there are bodies, limbs, or sticks in the puck's path, they should not go through. Yes, pucks should go under our sticks, through the gap between our legs sometimes because that happens in real life. But no, the puck shouldn't go through 3 sticks and 2 player models. They mentioned earlier that skating was going to get an upgrade, and it sounds like we'll be having a little more control over our guys. It sounds like a modified version of vision control from the older games, which would be nice. I think precision skating is going to involve being able to turn our bodies quickly as long as our player is slow or stationary. This is all outstanding stuff, Ben. However, it will just be a mess if EA does not fix their servers. If there's still a delay, these tools will be difficult to use. It's certainly a step in the right direction, and I'm very excited to see if it will play out the way we think it will. Things are looking up, fellas, but don't get your hopes up until they deliver a finished product and it's in our hands and it's playable. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.